Welcome to the Mystic Psychology Podcast. I am really happy that you are here in the space where your spirit meets your everyday life and your energy becomes your guide. I'm Charlotte and I'm here to walk beside you as you reconnect with your truth, your intuition, and the deeper layers of who you truly are. Welcome and hello to this new episode of the Mystic Psychology Podcast. My name is Charlotte, and if you don't know me, I am the founder of the Mystic Psychology Academy, where I support people finding their unique energetic gifts, their mystic gifts, their psychic capabilities, their reconnecting to intuition or working with energy through Reiki, energy work, and also coaching tools and many, many other things. In today's episode, I want to take you to something very, very personal. And many people have asked me to actually do this podcast about a part of my life that is still going on. And it started over 3 years ago. And it's my journey of giving up my apartment and living without a home since today, exactly 3 years. And in today's podcast, I don't only want to take you, and I will take you into my story because many of you want to hear it, but also about my teachings. Because what I've learned on this journey is all what life has taught me, what the universe has taught me, and what brought me into the biggest expansion in my life. So it happened 3 years and about 3 months ago that I went to Croatia, to a little town called Brela, which was right, or is still right by the seaside. And it's a small, little, cute town with little houses, and it has the most amazing energy, for me at least. The water is turquoise and clear, and people are just so relaxed, and it's this most beautiful and magical place. And one day I sat there all by myself by the ocean, and my feet were in the water. I remember the scene like it was yesterday. My feet were in the water, and I could see my feet in this turquoise clear water touching the stones. And I was deeply relaxed and connected and present in the moment. And I felt so blissed and so grateful. And in these moments where I have these kind of moments, I get insights. Not always, but a lot of times I get insights. And in this moment, once again, I got this insight. And I don't know if you know that feeling, but it's kind of like as if you would hear a voice and you know it's your voice, but it's not your day to day voice in your mind. It's something greater, something bigger. It's like your soul talking to you, or your guides, or your higher self, or whatever you want to call it, the universe. It's this deep knowing. It's the knowing of truth, something that is so, when something gets so clear in that moment. And I had that moment, and there came one sentence. And the sentence was, if I don't leave Vienna now, I will never do it. And I wanted to leave Vienna for a couple of years already because I wanted to live by the ocean, in nature. I wanted something, a place where I would feel more connected to myself, to the planet, to the animals, to just everything. And in this moment, in this clearness of this sentence, if I don't do it now, I will never do it. And I was 37 at that point, and I thought, I don't have children, I don't have a husband, I can work from anywhere. I thought, okay, I will do it. I just made the decision in that moment. The sentence came and I made a decision. It was something that took maybe a few seconds, the whole process. So I took the decision, and usually what happens, and maybe you also know that, the mind comes, and the mind would say something like, are you crazy? What are you doing? Do you know the consequences? What would people think of you? Where are you going to move? How are you going to do it financially? What are you going to do with your stuff in your apartment? What will your friends be? And are you going to miss your friends? So, so that's the mind, right? And in that moment, I made that decision and none of that came. I was very clear. I thought, no, I'm just going to do that. And I did. So I think that was a Saturday or a Sunday. I can't remember, but it was weekend. And on Monday, I called my landlord and I said, I'm moving out. When is the next possible date I can move out? And I had in mind December. So I made that decision in September. And I thought, okay, October, November, to get my things packed, to get some clarity where I want to go. And yeah, to get some other things done. And in this 1st of December, I want to move out. So we did that deal. I moved out on December 1st, or December 2nd, actually, was my last day when I left to the apartment. And I went back to Vienna from Croatia and I started to organize everything. I just packed my stuff. I told all my friends. And no matter what people would tell me, I didn't care. I just didn't hear it. I can't even remember how people reacted because I just really didn't care. For me, the decision was done. Was I scared? Yes, I was scared because fear is part of the story. And everybody who tells you or is waiting out there for fear to be gone in order for you to make a decision, I have to tell you, I'm sorry, it will never happen. So, of course, I was scared, but I still did it. And everything had its way. My friends even supported me. Some friends gave me the possibility to put my furniture in their house and my boxes. And I did a little party, a farewell party where I invited everyone to my house. And yes, then the journey began. And the journey was really a journey because it already started with the day I wanted to leave Vienna and it didn't work out. So in the morning where I wanted to leave Vienna, I closed my apartment door. I gave the keys to my landlord, and it happened that everything that could go wrong went wrong. I didn't get a taxi in the morning to my friend's house. My phone didn't work all of a sudden. My phone stopped working on the day I left Vienna. In the morning when I woke up, I couldn't put it on anymore. It was dead. And it was not because the battery, it was dead. Then I didn't find a taxi to go to my friend's house who wanted to pick me up, but we never arranged a time. Then I went to my friend's house. By coincidence, we met each other. I managed to get there after trying to get so many taxis. Then I went to the airport and to go to Madeira, to Portugal, to see my mom. And actually, I'll go there, why it was my first stop. And then I missed my flight. So I didn't have a phone. I missed my flight because I fell asleep on the airport, which never happened to me before. I never missed a flight in my whole life. And then I couldn't call my friends to pick me up because I didn't have a phone. I tried to get into the internet with computer. It didn't work. And of course, my first thought was like, oh my God, does life not want me to go? What is happening? Why is this happening to me? And I just went to my friend's house and I left 3 days later. But that was the start. And I went to Portugal to see my mom for the first stop because she lived in Madeira at that time. And I wanted to heal the relationship with my mom. I wanted to heal the mother wound. And it was one of my wishes during this process of leaving Vienna to actually heal that mother wound. So I went to Madeira to stay there with her, to spend time with her, to work from there, and to figure out where I want to go. And what happened, and I will make the story short, is that over the time, things started coming to me. I didn't run after anything, but things started coming to me. I didn't know where I wanted to live, but suddenly people started entering my life. Friends started inviting me places. family started telling me to come somewhere. So it was kind of like I put the question out and I said, where should I go next? And life always answered me in the most unbelievable ways. I would be sitting there and be like, where should I go from January 5th? And then somebody would call me and would be like, do you want to come to my house on January 5th? Do you want to stay with me? Come visit me for that and that time. So I started doing that. And one thing went to the next. I got the next invitation and the next invitation and the next invitation. And I'm always thinking, but I want to go. I want to stay somewhere. I want to be like having my own house. But it always came the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And so it went on over 3 years. And in these 3 years, I was in Portugal, in Holland, I was in Spain, in Turkey, I was in Cyprus, in Armenia, in Georgia, I went to Croatia, and many, many other places, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia. Yes, many other places, but all happening like that. I never looked for it. It always came to me. And it was in that way where I sometimes thought I would be there crying. Really, I had nervous breakdowns and would be thinking, I don't know where to go next. I don't know how I can afford this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know where should I go. I need stability. I need a place where I'm home, where I'm physically home. So that was the first teaching is home is not in the outside. Home is coming home to yourself, finding the inner stability, the inner home, the inner place of connection to yourself, because ultimately being home means to be within yourself home. And I don't know if you know that, but I had that feeling. It's like sometimes I came home in Vienna and I would start crying on the floor and would be like, I want to go home. But I didn't mean my physical home, I meant my soul home. So I learned home is not in the outside. Home is my inside. Home is that deeper connection to something greater, to my essence, to my soul. And by taking away that home in the outside, I had no other way than going inside. I had no other way than finding stability within myself. And I'm not saying I'm completely stable in myself because it's a process and it's a learning process over the years. But I found a deeper connection. I found that deeper stability within. And I asked life for it because I wanted to mention it maybe before, but it was the decision already before that I want to live a life in expansion, going over my conditioning, finding out who I truly am, living in authenticity. And life gave me these 3 years to exactly find that, to find who am I? What are my actual beliefs? What do I think of life? Changes of perspective, changes of seeing different ways and forms of life, how people live in different ways, in different cultures, in different ways of thinking. And that all is true in their way. And that mine is not the only truth in this world, but that I get to see so many different perspectives and find my own truths in it. So that was the second thing, finding my truth, finding my authenticity, finding what is important to me, finding out what kind of life do I want to live. The third one was trust, trusting that I'm okay. I will not sleep on the street. And actually, sometimes I had moments where in the morning I didn't know where I was going to be in the afternoon. Literally, I just had a suitcase. Now I just have a backpack. I even minimized that. And I didn't know where I was going to be. So I just had no other choice than to trust life and to go into that surrendering of, okay, I'm calming my nervous system now because I'm having almost a panic attack because I don't know where to go. But going into that trust and being like, okay, so what am I going to do now? And always in these moments, it came to me. Somebody would call me, or I would have an insight, or something would happen. And it's going into that deeper trust in life that everything is okay, that you're always cared for, that there's nothing, that nothing can happen to me, that there's always a solution, that there's always a way that life will take care of me in some way, that there's always opportunity, that there's always somebody who's helping if you ask for help. If there's always a way to go on and to move forward and to develop that inner, deeper trust, which also led to the point of synchronicity. So I told you, like, I was in a situation thinking, where should I go? What should I do? And suddenly the answer would come. Somebody would tell me in a conversation or call me. So these synchronicities started happening. And that's what I saw, how magical life is, how unbelievable magic. There's signs everywhere. There is like life talking to me. Even if I didn't see it in that moment, I started realizing short after because I had to, because life shook me and told me, like, you have to connect, to come back to yourself, to breathe, trust, surrender. And there's your answer. And yes, that's how easy it is, actually. Not easy and easy. I think you understand. But it's when the same thing when I work with my clients or my participants, I always see they have the answers. I can see they're saying the answers just like that. But then the mind comes and does the whole mind fuck thing. And with that mind fuck thing, what happens is it takes you away from that connection, takes you away from that trust, takes you away from the magic of life, from the signs, from the synchronicity, from coming home to yourself, from the flow and from the softness and all these kind of things. And so what happened in all that was the synchronicities started to come, and I learned to kind of flow life. That flow, that means to actually not misunderstand, because in spirituality, flow is often like this hippie kind of woo-woo thing. But I don't want to give you that impression, because it's not. It's a mixture of letting go and going into that surrender and that trust and that connection, but and at the same time taking that action. And that action, I mean, is to ask for help, or if you have the insight, then actually go into the action and do it. Make that call, book that flight, book the whatever, have the conversation with that friend that helps you resolve it, taking the actual step into doing it. Now, that's very generic, but a lot of people think flow is just this thing where you wait until something happens to you and everything is done for you. But it's not. It's a mixture. It's a mixture of letting go and softening and surrendering, but at the same time building what you want to build. So, for example, when I had the idea of my business, which is also my purpose and who I am, teaching energy work and supporting people in that, then I went out there. I started telling people. I started doing my Instagram account. I did a website. I started doing my course. I started inviting people for it. I started calling people for it. I started telling people about it. So it was not just, oh, I want to do energy work and teach it and be like, okay, now I'll wait. See, so that's the difference. I had the insight of leaving Vienna and I quit my apartment. I started getting organized. I started booking my flight tickets. So there's this action part that has to be done. And that is when real flow starts. It's a mixture between getting the insights, listening to your intuition, going into the connection, but then at the same time taking it and actually doing it. So the flow was another teaching, entering the flow state. And another great teaching is letting go, because everybody who knew me, I was a super materialistic person. I used to work in luxury fashion. I had maybe 150, over 150 pairs of shoes. All my outfits used to be perfect, shoes matching, dresses, my hair perfect, my makeup perfect, my apartment perfect. It was like all was in this perfectionism. And I used to love shopping and outer looks, and everything like that was very important to me. And from my character, actually, I'm somebody who loves to be at home, to love to like collect and have and own and, all these kind of things. And my home was sacred to me. My home was my space where I could pull back and regain my batteries because I'm very sensitive. So, sensitive people often need their space for themselves to regain energy. And it was my space. And all of a sudden, I didn't have a space. I didn't have a place that was my own. I didn't have all my 150 pairs of shoes. I had one suitcase. And after a while, not even that, I just had a backpack. My clothes, I couldn't be picky anymore. Living from a backpack in all four seasons, I'm telling you, it's not a lot of outfits. But being creative with that, there's not bags of cosmetics and all these kind of things. So I really had to like go from everything that I had in the outside, everything that I thought I needed, that I was so attached to, where I thought, I can't live without that, not defining me, but like partially defining me, because I thought this is who I am. This is my shoes. This is this. This is this. This is this. This is this. And it changed because all of a sudden I didn't feel like I need it. And I noticed how addicted I was to all my stuff defining me. And we live in this society that defines us, and how much addiction we're really addicted to our materialistic stuff. And that changed in me because I didn't have a choice. So I needed to let go. And today I see and feel it differently. I enjoy beautiful things. I still love aesthetics. I love beautiful dresses and I love beautiful shoes. But it's not that it defines me, and I don't need it anymore. I enjoy it if I want it, but I don't need it anymore. So I started letting go of outer circumstances, letting go of materialistic things, letting go of so many outer things that I thought that would be important. My apartments, for example. I learned how to regain my energy anywhere, no matter where I had to adapt, because living with different people, and I always stayed with people, with friends, with family. So I always had to adapt to my surrounding, adapt to their rhythm, adapt to their way of life. So I learned to regain my energies and stay connected to myself more and more. Yes. So these were my biggest learnings. In the last 3 years, I was traveling all alone by myself from place to place. And I've been not only to many places, many cultures, but I've been through emotionally fear and nervous breakdowns and panic attacks and doubt and everything, everything, like really everything. Depressive states, not really depression because I'm not depressed anymore. I used to be back maybe many, many years ago. But of course, there's days where you're like, oh, I can't. I can't anymore. There's no way I can. I need a home. But always when I wanted a home until now, and I know it's going to change 2026, but until now, I couldn't settle. There was something in me that stopped me, or that it didn't work out, or there was always something happening that it didn't work. And I feel it's changing now. So I know I will settle soon. And all these states learned me that it's not about the uncomfortable feelings, the comfortable feelings, the happiness, the sadness. It's about having it all, having the ups, the downs, and centering myself and connecting to myself in whatever emotional state I am, and allowing myself to feel all these emotions, allowing myself to actually feel that sadness and that suffocation when you don't have a home, but at the same time, that bliss and that happiness it gave me, because it gave me so much bliss and so much freedom and happiness and fulfillment. So there was both sides. But both sides were important, and both sides were those who taught me about life and all these things I mentioned before. And none of it was worthy of more or less. They're all part of that story. And I'm happy I learned that, because I had very much difficulties to feel also the uncomfortable. So it kind of also opened me to feel everything, opened me to feel life and to go on that journey. And I really did it all. I mean, I was with my mom, I spent time with my sister, I got engaged, I got disengaged, I traveled, I saw my friends, I spent time with different families and people. And I'm so happy I did it. I'm so happy I had the chance and the opportunity to meet and be with so many wonderful souls that supported me and held me and gave me so much love in that time, and still do. I received so much from people and life. And that's when you see that really all that mind fuck is just an illusion. It's keeping you from your dreams, keeping you from what is really important. And whatever you do, you will survive, like I did. I survived. And it was more than just surviving. It was coming home to myself. So my invitation to you, and I really look forward to, if you have questions or comments, leave them below, because I would be very interested. If you have questions or if you could relate to some things, then just leave me a comment or write me. I would be super happy to read from you. So thank you for joining this podcast. And I see you, I hear you, and I feel you, because ultimately we're all connected. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here, for your time, for listening, and showing up for your own personal path. If something touched you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. And make sure to subscribe and get my weekly newsletter. You can always go deeper at mystic-psychology.com or find me on Instagram. I'd really love to connect to you in person, read your comments and messages. So until next time, stay close to your soul and trust what you feel, follow your intuition, and I can't wait to connect with you again.